I wish that this will be a good movie. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Wish. This is a donation reward for Venom, and this should be interesting because this movie was not particularly well received. And it's been pretty much outdone by every other animated movie that came out in 2023. So the question is, does it live up to that kind of negative reputation? Or is it going to surprise me? Now, I have seen one of the trailers for this movie, probably the first trailer that came out. And I gotta say, a lot of it looks like it could be good, but it ruins it with kind of one thing. One part of the trailer just actively annoyed me. And I don't blame Alan Tudyk for it, because Alan Tudyk is doing a job and everything, but this goat, at least from that trailer I saw, is super fucking annoying. Like, not... Like Alan Tudyk can be good at being annoying. But he's just using one of the voices he uses every so often in various things. And he was just being annoying. It wasn't funny. It wasn't entertaining. So I don't know, like, how this is going to go and everything. Now, mind you, that's obviously not the entirety of the film, but this wouldn't be the first Disney movie to also be ruined by, you know, that kind of thing. Remember The Hunchback of Notre Dame, a movie that would have been phenomenal if not for the gargoyles? The gargoyles, whose lack of actual humor and whatnot actively ruined the movie and made it less good. Like, it would be one of the best Disney movies of all time if not for the gargoyles. They actively bring it down. So, will the goat in this do the same thing? It remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. But the fact that this movie didn't do well is not the best, it's not the best sign at all. Now, I've also heard people complain about, like, one of the songs, and I've heard, like, a little bit of it, not a lot. But from the little bit I heard, like for example, I'm on TikTok, and I've heard people complaining, oh, we go from this and show, like, I don't know, Circle of Life or something, or a song from Encanto, to this, and it had that little clip of the song from this movie, and it's like, trying to say as if this song is, like, really bad, but from what I heard, it's really not. And some people were specifying, like, in regards to being a villain song specifically. I don't know if it's the only villain song for the king in this one, but I do know that that is part of it. I don't remember much about the song at all. I just remember it didn't sound that bad. It's like, I think people were over-exaggerating. But I also, again, only heard a very small clip, to be fair. Now, I don't 100% know what the plot to this is. I know it has something to do with wishes, like, as a concept and everything. But I don't remember the exact, like, details, if I even heard the exact details before. And, Chris Pine is the king, I know that. And Alan Tudyk is the GOAT. I'm not sure about any other voice actors in here. I believe I don't know the main character's voice. It was like Ariana something or other. It wasn't a name I recognize. And I don't think I know of any others that are in this for sure. I mean, I might know some. I just don't know if I know them, you know, because I don't know who they are. So, yeah. I'm definitely interested to see what all of this is about, but I'm also interested to see if it lives up to the fact that people don't like it. Because I've liked things that people don't like before, like Batman v Superman and the original cut of the Justice League. So those are just easy go-to examples, by the way. So I might end up really liking this. Um, Granted, I didn't even see the last Disney movie before this. That the Romeo and Juliet, but water and fire. That's pretty much all that movie is. It's just it's another lazy Romeo and Juliet clone. Just the characters are made of water and fire. Elemental. That's what it was called. Um, I never saw that because it looked bad. Like unlike this movie, which the trailer made it look like, oh, this could be good. Um, Elemental's trailer, it's like, oh, this looks like shit, like actively bad. So I think the last Disney movie I actually saw was Encanto, and if you count Pixar as well, then Turning Red. Which I mean, there hasn't been like a lot. I think these have been the only two since then, but still. Either way, I am definitely excited to see what this is like and hopefully form my own opinion on it without being marred by the opinions of others that are everywhere and have been everywhere since this movie first came out. So, thank you so much for tuning in, as always. And by the way, just because this is our big movie week and everything, you are seeing this on Saturday, but I am recording this earlier in the week. So, just as a reminder, even though there's a movie coming out every single day this week, I do still have to record this earlier in the week just because of, time constraints on the weekend. Ability to record is practically non-existent for Saturdays and Sundays for me. So this week is just crazy in terms of recording. I'm recording all the normal stuff, all these movies. On at least 2 days, I have to record 2 movies each of those days. So it's like, Jesus. But yeah, just want to remind you of that. You are seeing this on Saturday, of course, so it doesn't really matter to you too much. It doesn't affect you in any way, but I recorded this during the week still. So, that being said, let us get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I turned up the light because it got darker out there, which means it got darker in here, so felt that turning up the ring light might have been a good idea. Anyway, so let me look things up here because I need to know like exactly what people were saying about this. I'm not gonna like look up a lot of stuff. I'm just gonna look up the Wikipedia here. That should give me the information I need. Reception. Okay, so as always, take it with a grain of salt, but Rotten Tomatoes apparently has this at a 48% with 216 critic reviews, and an average rating of 5.7 out of 10. The consensus reads, Wish earns some tugs at the heartstrings with the way it warmly references many of the studio's classics, but nostalgia's no substitute for genuine storytelling magic, no matter how beautifully animated it might be. Kate Erblund of IndieWire praised the film, saying, as Disney celebrates its 100th year, Wish serves as a throwback to the past a celebration of the present and a gentle push to the future. Okay, let's find some negative stuff because that's kind of what I want to know more about here. Michael O'Sullivan of the Washington Post gave 2 stars out of 5 and said, "What Wish feels like at times, not a movie made by filmmakers with an original vision, but one assembled by a focus group with an eye more on fan service than on fresh ideas. It all feels familiar, which is another word for comforting, and Wish, however recycled it may be, is at least that. Warm, funny-ish, and with its heart in the right place." Let's see here. Well, I'm not seeing like anything that goes into more. Hold on, here's something. Might mispronounce his name. Lovia Giarchie. I apologize if I mispronounced that. Of the Hollywood Reporter wrote that even during its more successful moments, Wish's magic falls flat. The film is weighed down by its purpose to revel in Disney's nostalgia while soaring into the future. Owen Gleiberman of Variety wrote, "The strategy behind Wish seems to be if we do an homage to enchantment, the audience will be enchanted. True magic, however, can't be recycled." So it seems like, at least according to the Wikipedia stuff there, that the biggest issue seems to be that it's focusing more on nostalgia than telling a story otherwise. And that is my biggest issue with this. So I actually agree with this. I know this is like Disney's 100th anniversary movie. It's a big deal. It was made to be like this 100th anniversary film. And even the concept of wishing on a star and all, classic Disney. We get the point. We get the when you wish upon a star. They even made the reference in the post credits. Obviously, that was what they were going for. It was meant to be a celebration of Disney's themes, values, and ideas, and pushing that into the future. However, when you oversaturate your movie with all of these references, it takes away from the original story of the film. And this movie does have an original story, even if it is not the most unique or exciting necessarily. But when you overstuff it with all these references, it feels like that's more of your focus. Like you're more focused on putting forth all these Disney references with Peter Pan, with Robin Hood, with all of this stuff, rather than actually focusing on the plot. Does the plot suffer because of it? I feel this could have been better. I feel plot-wise it could have been better. I feel that certain aspects of it were notably rushed. For one, the reveal that the king has been corrupted by his own ego and greed and fear. It happened way too early. It happened too early, and it was way too easily revealed. On top of that, I feel like just in general, the movie maybe needed to be like 10 minutes longer, maybe, to really just have that climax not feel like it kind of just happened. Because that's what it felt like. The climax felt like, oh, we're just suddenly in the climax, and then it's like, okay, it happened. We needed more time to make it feel like it was well built up to, like in the moments leading up to it, right beforehand. It felt like it was just suddenly there. And I don't know how else to express that. It felt like the pacing was just a little bit off because of that. The story itself, again, is very bare basics. It's very simplistic, but it's not bad by any means. The characters are good, even if not super memorable. The songs are great, but again, not super memorable. And I think again that this comes into play because of the constant references. Because this movie is so like focused on referencing previous Disney projects, because of that, it feels like it's taking the focus away from everything else and making the characters, the story, the songs feel less memorable because they feel like they're the not the, it feels like they're not the point. My other issue here is the ending felt, again, really simple. And don't get me wrong, I can dig it when a villain is not redeemed in the end. Not every villain needs to be redeemed. Not every villain needs to have like this big redemption. The problem is when a movie sets up for the villain to have a redemption and then never capitalizes on it. We never found out more information about the past, that incident that happened that set the king on this path in the first place. We never found out more about that. And I feel like that does a disservice to his character. We needed to find out more about that incident. Maybe have a straight up flashback. Maybe have him remembering it. And on top of that, we needed to have him, because of how it was set up, be redeemed. Even if he was still punished in the end for it and imprisoned, he needed to at least understand what he did was wrong. And that he was the bad guy in this situation. I understand the idea that some people who get lost in this kind of thing end up not being able to come back from it. That some people who are corrupted through, again, their greed, their fear, all of that, who are doing things for genuinely good motivations at first, they can become lost in the evil they end up doing. And that sometimes they can't be reasoned with, that they're too far gone. I get that. But the movie felt like it was very, very specifically setting up for him to be redeemed. Again, and that kind of comes down even with all the references. Because it's like referencing all this classic Disney stuff and everything, it feels like that's kind of the classic vibes it's going for. So by the end, when he's not redeemed, it doesn't feel satisfying. Like, you can have a villain not be redeemed and it feels satisfying. They reference Utopia in this. Let's talk about Assistant Mayor Bellwether. She wasn't redeemed in the end, and that felt right. Her being redeemed would make no sense with her character or the way the plot was moving along. The difference here is Magnifico felt like that's exactly what it was building up to. But instead, he just is selfish and greedy and everything to the end. And it feels off because of it. But I've talked about my negatives for this movie. Let's talk about the positives. Literally everything else. This movie was fun. It was super enjoyable. It was really funny. And I really enjoyed watching it. Again, the music, the characters, the story, all of them were great. They're just not memorable because the attention is diverted during the viewing process due to all the references. But during the viewing process, while you're actually watching, it's good. It's enjoyable. I had a good time. And I enjoyed this film. It's not by any means Disney's best, not even best within the past decade. I wouldn't rate it like super high, but I would still I would still give it a notably placed rating, I would say. I don't know exactly where, but I would put it up there still. I think that people were definitely way too harsh on this. Don't get me wrong, it has its problems. It's not perfect, but people were acting like this movie was an insult to previous Disney films. And yeah, I think part of the issue is that it came out in a year with so many other, like, just monumental animated films. That did it no favors. But to try and say, like, oh, Disney's lost its touch, Disney's just pouring out crap nowadays, is just, that's just not what this movie was. Um, and I will be the first to admit, I didn't actually mind Valentino. I know that surprises me. I felt Valentino was going to be exceptionally annoying and just really hurt the film for me. But no, this was not an Olaf case. I was not upset at him like I was with Olaf in Frozen or the gargoyles in Hunchback of Notre Dame. No. Um he's not like the most exciting or best character or anything like super great, but I'd compare him more to someone like Zazu from Lion King, just nowhere near as good. You know what I mean? But then again, like as much as I love him, it's like he's no Rowan Atkinson in that regard. Alan Tudyk is fantastic, and he did a great job for what he had to do. I wasn't the biggest fan of the character, but he wasn't bad. He was just kind of there, which is actually more or less positive for me in that regard compared to what I was expecting. Um, yeah, I think that the way that they resolved it in the end was pretty much what you would expect because they did set that up with the star being in all of them, the ability to make their wishes come true being within them all. Like that was properly set up, I will say. Um so yeah, it's like I did really enjoy this. Again, it has its issues, it had its problems. It wasn't perfect, and it really really should have not focused so much on all these references because that did drag it down quite a bit. But for what it was, like I said, I enjoyed it. And I think that the hate that this movie received is way overdone. It did not deserve that much hate. Um, so, all of that being said, though, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this movie? How did you view Wish? What did you think were your highlights and lowlights? Let me know in the comments below. And for now, thank you so much for Venom for donating for this, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.